Okay, today I am ridiculously excited because for the month of February, we had two amazing rock stars who really stepped up. They not only reached enormous, I want to say promotions. One reached a really high, both of you actually hit great promotions, but you guys band together and worked as a unit. And that to me is exactly what this is all about, is working together as a unit, because we can go far on our own, but we can go so much farther when we do it together. And you guys did that, and it's been beautiful watching the entire month. So we're going to start with Miss Sandy. I'm going to ask Sandy a couple of questions, and Sandy, just give us all of your answers. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. I'm going to ask for you to be unmuted. There should be a thing that pops up. There we go. All right, Sandy, when did you join Rachel?
Actually, I joined Rachel a little over a year ago, but I kind of just, I told her I was going to do this business a year ago, and then I flaked on her and said, okay, Rachel, I don't think I'm going to do this right now. And she's like, no worries, no worries. And so I just kind of hid in the background and watched her do her thing. And then after she went to convention and she got on here, was like, wah! I said, okay, I'm going to do it.
That's so the perfect explanation of Rachel.
I know.
I love
She was like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna set this on fire. And I was cracking up at her and Ruben on their trip home from the airport. I thought, well, if she's this excited, there's gotta be something to it. So I contacted her and I said, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I love that. So I want to touch on that, and I want to make sure everybody heard that. So Sandy joined a year ago, and she sat and did absolutely nothing for an entire year. And then last month, she came back and signed 14 enrollments. And she reached her 1,000 VIP superstar. I think that that's very important for you guys to hear that, because I have one who just rejoined back up, Miss Becky. She started last year and she just rejoined. So I want you to make sure you hear that, because what did she just do? She just showed you guys it's possible, because she did it. She wasn't going to do it. She signed up, she quit, and then she came back and she did 14 enrollments. And she's already signed like what, 4 this month? Like 3 or 4 already this month, and it's only the 3rd. So it's possible. All right, tell me what you've been doing this time to be so successful. What was it inside of you that clicked this time?
I think I hate my job, number one.
How many of you hate your job? All right, so we've got that motivation. All right, so we're already halfway there.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I make good money at. Rachel and I have this conversation all the time. But I work for some very demanding positions. We'll leave it at that. And so I come home frustrated and take it out on my husband and dogs. I'm not a happy person. So she just seemed always so upbeat. I'm speaking of Rachel. And I thought, I just want some of that. I want some of that excitement. And I want to feel good at the end of the day instead of I hate my life at the end of the day. So literally watching her and Ruben after convention, I thought, I've got to do this. I've got to give it a shot.
Do you guys see what's happening? You're hitting her heart. This makes my heart so happy to hear, because that's why we do what we do, right, Rachel?
Yeah.
You can unmute yourself. That's why we do what we do. Do you guys see that?
I'm crying right now, because that's literally been my mission. Like, I don't know who I'm touching. I don't know who I'm talking to when I'm posted on Facebook and expressing myself, but my hand's back in the dark, and I'm just waiting for somebody to grab that.
Let me ask a question. Sandy, have you been very active on Rachel's posts throughout the entire year?
think I comment what, Rachel, every once in a blue moon, not often. Like I might say, I might laugh at something she does. She's freaking hilarious. I mean, that deer post was cracked me up. That
She
whatever she
hardly-
did, that when that libido coming came out and she did that whole deer thing, I about cracked up. That thing.
I think we all did. Even Travis and Kristen did.
But she haven't been real active, but I've like watched her from afar, and she would tag me every now and then. Like she would reach out and have you ever read that? What is that book? He's just not that into you. Like
Yes,
you've
yes.
got that pink shirt in your closet. You just touch that pink shirt every now and then. I was her pink shirt, I think.
I
think
love
so,
that
too.
so much. The reason
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on that again, because a lot of us have been here and we get discouraged. Nobody's liked my stuff. Nobody's commented. Some of you make a post and then you delete it because nobody likes it, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking about yourself. You're making these posts and you're only thinking about you. That's not what this business is about. And we've talked about this before. This team specifically is about relationship. This team specifically is about connecting with people, is about making a difference in someone else's life. And in turn, we make the difference in our own life. So because Rachel didn't give up and she kept saying like, I'm still here. I'm still here. Hey, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm still here. Right. But Rachel kept her eyes forward. And because she kept her eyes forward and she kept believing, then when it was Sandy's time, because Sandy joined, but it wasn't her time yet. She hadn't quite got sick enough of her job. She hadn't quite hated her job just enough. And then finally, whatever it was, the stars aligned and it was her time. And because Rachel didn't cut her off, didn't get pissed off, didn't block her, didn't take her out of the groups, she just kept doing her thing. Then the time was right and they reconnected. Rachel kept reaching out and she finally found someone who grabbed onto her. And Rachel, what happened last month? Rachel became
so
what?
Emotional, so Ruby. We became Ruby.
Hey, Ruby. Rachel's been in this business for 4 years and she's never ranked. Okay, I want to make sure that you guys hear that. She's been in this business for 4 years and she just hit her rank.
I told her we were going to do it. We were going to do it together.
And you did. And that was so beautiful. So Rachel's been in this business for 4 years. Rachel, what was it that caused you to shift in your possibility to go from doubt to shift in you to go from doubt to possibility? Because you haven't always been this Rachel. This is not the Rachel that I met 4 years ago.
No, I'm not. And, I started on self-development 4 years ago with the recommendation from Crystal. And it's been a process over the years, but honestly, the biggest, 2019 crushed me. And I literally had dropped to my knees in my bedroom and begged for my pain to be used as a guiding light for somebody else. And, I did a lot of work over the years, and some of you guys might not know, but I lost a son in 2008, and your body literally remembers trauma. And every single year between August and November, the time that he was alive, I go into this dark pit. It is a dark pit and I cannot climb out of it. So last year I was like, you know what? I got this. I'm not going to be taken down from this. And I was doing great. I was like, I did so much work. I'm doing really good mentally. And August hit and I crashed. The day before I was perfectly fine. The day of his birthday hit, made it halfway through the day and I caved. And for 3 months, I spent in darkness. I didn't really work my business. I showed up on posts, but I wasn't behind the scenes working my business. I just got lost. And, I reached out to Crystal so many times. Like I was frustrated with myself. I was so frustrated. And I came to the conclusion that in learning about these things and how trauma can have that effect on you, I learned to be okay with not being okay. I had to give myself permission to go through that. And you know what, when November hit, and that's usually when I come out of this, like I know this, when November hit, I was like, you know what? I'm done. Okay, so we're talking, I hit Ruby in February, but the work started in November when I made the decision to climb out of my hole.
Hold on.
And then go ahead.
Hold on. Because you've done this before. And I'm going to stop you because I don't want you to discredit. When Rachel went into this seasonal depression, Rachel still shows up. Okay. Rachel shows up at the best that she can, but Rachel still shows up. And I don't want you, and I'm going to go into a little session here with you because I want you guys to hear this. I don't want you to discredit how important the fact that you still showed up was, even though you were working at 20%. And that I know hurts a lot of us. A lot of us are runners. And when we run at the best of our ability. And when we do anything less than the best, we feel like it's not nothing. It's not anything. But the reality is that if you show up for the best that you can in the moment that you're in. That's what matters. And she did. She's shown up even when she was going through the stuff. So yes, your hard work started it back up in November, but she still did work through her depression because she knew what her end goal was. And she knew that this would pass. And she knew she didn't want to hate herself more when it did. So you still showed up. And I want you to give yourself that credit because it's very important to praise yourself through those seasons. That's how those seasons get shorter, because they don't become something you dread because you know that you can still progress even through them. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. And that's something I still work on. Like, I just want you guys to know that even though like you see me how I am right now, 4 years ago, you wouldn't recognize me. That's progression. Like, I am constantly working on becoming a better person myself. And it shows. It's why I can show up right now as I am, because of the work that I've done before. You have to do the self-work. But another, the shift, I made that decision in November. And I decided, I'm done playing small. I played small for such a long time. And I never fully really believed in myself, And then, the talk of convention coming, and I was like, there's no way I can make it. There's no way I can make it.
I want to talk a little bit about that too, because there's a lot that happened behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. Tell me about the things that were coming at you and what did you do to overcome those? Because you had obstacle after obstacle after obstacle after obstacle to keep you from attending convention.
Yeah. Like it was everything. It was money, getting hit left and right with different things. Our personal family got hit with something that we didn't see coming, and it was just hit after hit. And I was literally just like, there's no way I can afford this. There's no way. And
what was the shift within you how did you make it happen? Like, just what did you keep telling yourself? Because there was a lot, like literally every time she thought that something was going to work out, within 24, 48 hours, she'd be in my inbox telling me like, this fell through, this fell through, this fell through. It was literally nonstop, but you didn't quit. Why didn't you quit?
So it sounds crazy to say, but it's like I manifested it. I kept calling it out. I am going to convention. I switched that conversation in my mind to, I don't know if I can't afford it. I don't know if I can make it, to I am going to convention. And I was relentless in my path to making it to convention. I literally went through a firm and thought I had my plane scheduled. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, it didn't schedule it. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, it got denied. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. And then I was only like pre-approved for $500. And then I just so happened to be looking at another website and this message popped up. Boom, your limits increased to 1,000. And I was like, oh my God, like it was meant to happen. But it was one thing after another. I had so many issues with scheduling plane, trying to schedule our room, getting the money for convention and trying to do it. But through it all, like I just kept telling myself, I have to be there. Like something inside of me said we had to be there, my boyfriend included.
So what happened while you were there? And then explain coming home, because coming home, apparently something was within you and Sandy felt it. So there was that shift that happened from you persevering through it, determining to get there, one obstacle after another, instead of you quitting and instead of you just being like, it's just not in the cards for me. There's too many things that are coming at me. I give up. You persevered, you found a way, you went around it, you pivoted. Like all leaders, you read any leader book, it always says if there's something, you change your sail, right? A leader just shifts its sail. The goal is still there, right? None of us have reached our goals yet. None of us have reached our dreams yet. So the goal and dreams are still there. We've got to learn how to pivot around life. Mm-hmm. We've just got to learn how to pivot around life, because like I said at convention, like life is going to be hard. There are going to be heartbreak. You will have life come at you. It is inevitable. It is inevitable. Life is everything passes. The great times pass, the good times pass. It's constantly ebbing and flowing, right? The problem is when we get stuck in when things are coming at us, we just give up. We think we just give up. And the problem isn't giving up. The problem is when you finally find yourself again, how much time you've missed, right? It's how much time you've missed in not trying, not even doing a little bit each day. There's a book that I'm going to suggest. It's called The 4 Agreements. And the 4th agreement is always doing your best. And your best is never going to look the same. Never. Some days you're just too tired, but you're going to do the best that you can with that exhaustion, right? And all of us have it. We have those moments where something will come at us and we hear our subconscious in our mind. We argue with it, right? I really don't want to do this. I do not want to do this meeting tonight. And something happens. It gives us an out. I'm not going to show up to the meeting because I have to do this, because I have a physical excuse that I just manifested this physical excuse, right? And now I have a reason, so I'm not lying. It actually happened. I'm not lying. Or we can, when you're a little kid and they have the devil and the angel on your shoulders, or we could say, I know that if I don't show up for this, I'm going to have twice as much stuff I have to do tomorrow. Like you guys that have jobs, why don't you call in when you don't feel good? Because you're going to have twice as much work tomorrow. You just get your ass out of bed and you get your ass to work and you get the work done because you don't want to do 2 days worth of work tomorrow, right? It's the same with this business. You've got to show up for this business the same exact way you show up for your job. When you feel good and when you don't feel good. That's how you reach your goals. When life is easy, when life is not easy. You have to keep showing up. I don't expect you to show up at the peak of your excitement at 100 every day. That's not going to be possible. None of us can show up at 100% every day. But if you show up every day, then you're going to get to your goal. And you're going to become the person who's damn proud of yourself because you showed up. Okay? So please hear that too. So you got back from convention. You guys were on fire. Ruben was on stage. I knew that was all he needed. I literally, the moment I saw him shaking his booty up there, I was like, he's in. I think I told you that, Lisa. I think Lisa was right next to me. I was like, he's in. He's sold. Like that's all he needed was to be up on that stage. Done. So we knew that was coming, right? But what was it in you that made that shift and tell me how we're going to add a little different questions because we got through these questions pretty fast because you went with it and I let you go. But tell me the shift that happened within you, and tell me how you changed the way you did your posts. Cause I feel your posts differently now. Like I literally feel them. There is intention behind them. So tell me where that shift happened. Tell me that. Tell us that.
So I'm going to be honest. The shift started when I deepened my why, my passion. I actually dug so deep that I found a passion, like something that literally brings chills to my core. It makes me tear up. It's like I did a post the other day, like so many people use the what's your why? My kids. But then a couple of weeks later, they're going to use their kids as the excuse for why they can't do their business. Okay. Your kids are a deep reason. Yes, but it has to be deeper than that. And I have been searching for my reason in that, and finding my reason in the horse ranch that I'm going to build to help others and be of service of others and help heal others is what literally gets me out of bed in the morning. It gets me out of bed. It makes it, I don't always want to post. I don't. I struggle sometimes. Okay. I literally have things that I've saved in my messenger. I sent to myself so I can refer back to on the hard days, so that even on the hard days, I don't have an excuse not to show up. I can show up. And, really being in that room in convention and looking at everybody around, like they're all just normal people. They're normal people that did extraordinary stuff. If they can, why can't I? Why can't I? I've been in network marketing for 4 years. Why can't I hit a rank? Why not me?
Yeah.
Like deciding that I am worthy. I am worthy of it. My dreams are worthy. My kids and the legacy that I'm leaving to them is worthy of me doing the work now. I'm worthy. And that's the major shift, is the decision that I made in my mind that the future me deserves me to show up now. And she will thank me later. My kids and generations down will thank me later.
Yeah, I'm like, let's all get ourselves together now. I know you're gonna be. Oh, Sandy, when you started watching her again, what was going? These are questions we didn't rehearse these questions. We got through this a little bit fast, so I'm just gonna go a little bit raw here.
Okay.
Before convention started, there had to be a build up that was happening within you. Do you want to maybe touch on that a little bit? I know you said like you were coming home, you were miserable, you were hating on your dog, like your dogs, and taking it out on your husband. But there had to be like an inner dialogue that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that I knew that I had, signed up to do this a year ago, and I literally like stalked her page. I looked at, I think, Kimberly Stroud's page. I looked at your page, Crystal. I was like, okay, I can do this. And then I think you about
Cutting in and out.
gosh, I can't even remember now. It was something that I thought profoundly, like it was a God post, and we had come home from church, and I told David, I was just like, it just spoke to me. It just speaks to me. I can't even remember which one it was, but I kind of got like goosebumps, and I thought, I can do this. These ladies are doing this. This is something I could do. And he's not a big fan of network marketing. He's in there on the couch going, oh God, here she goes.
Has his perspective changed a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Has his perspective changed a little bit? Not yet. You're breaking in and up. Can you guys hear? You're breaking in and up. I didn't hear that part.
I said, you're gonna have to keep all these dogs quiet because they're interviewing me tonight.
He's like, they're interviewing you? Like, why? Yeah, because I'm a badass currently.
I'm a failed rescue mom. I have 6 dogs right now.
Oh, I love it so much.
But anyway, so it's just, it was just like a slow brewing passion that I just felt like if you guys could do it and you looked happy doing it, I needed to give it a shot. I needed to give it my all, because when I signed up a year ago, I didn't try. I just kind of like threw a couple posts out there and like, nobody's listening to me. I'm not going to do it. And my, I got the whole family thing. Like, this isn't going to work. Why are you doing that? You've done 5 different things. Cause I have, like Jennifer that I recruited. And so
a lot of us have.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm not gonna do it. But then, just watching you guys, honestly, I just thought I'm gonna give it a shot. And then watching her and Ruben come home from the airport, they were so excited. And then I think you guys did your own live, right, Rachel? Like a couple days later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did their own live and they were just so excited and so happy about it. I messaged her doing that and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And then we talked about doing a love list. I think you did, Crystal. You challenged us to do that. And that's really what I did all last month. And you said, no excuses, do your 35 posts or do your 35 people. And so I literally get up at 5 o'clock every morning because I have like 45 minutes that I can devote to that before I have to get ready for work. And I go down that list and I just message or comment or something every single day. And that's where I've gotten my.
So I wish I could literally hug you right now. I had no idea that that's what you were doing, but that makes me so excited. Okay,
yes,
so
I literally get up at 5 a.m. and that's every day.
There you go.
Every day.
And you just love on people.
Delete the ones that, are like negative Nellies that you said, get rid of them. And I put someone else in there.
I love it. When you like give that tip and someone does it and it works, it's just like the best feeling in the world. You're like, is everybody listening?
Well, because
like if I was typing this, it'd be in bold letters.
Well, I honestly didn't know where to start because if you just throw a post out there, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Not very much. Not very good. I mean, honestly, I reached out to Jennifer yesterday and she was on my list. I comment on your stuff every now and then, right, Jennifer? And then I messaged her yesterday and said, hey, what do you think? She's like, I'm in. I'm like, oh.
I love it. And she's on the Zoom. Jennifer signed up last night as a rock star, and here she is on our very first Zoom.
She is, and she's going to be wonderful.
But she's already showing up. She's already 5 steps ahead of half of our team. I absolutely love it. So I'm assuming that's going to be one of your tips. But if you could give us 2 tips, Sandy, what would you suggest?
Definitely do the love list for sure.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, 2 tips. Oh.
Well, what have you been doing this month? Like, what's been successful for you? Rachel and I have an answer for you. We have her answer. We just want to make sure she knows her answer.
Well, the buy 3 get 1 free.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're crazy if you don't take advantage of that. I know
Agreed.
that the sheet that you guys use is the 1, 2 free. Yeah. So I don't use it that way. I just talk about the products and then you're going to laugh because this is the school teacher. So I wasn't good with all the products. So I made a binder.
Yep.
With all my little sheets. So when they ask me, I have a visual. Yeah.
Me too.
I have a visual Yes. So, I asked them what their, what we want to talk, what they're excited about. I tell them what I'm excited about. Like the Vibe High and Chill and the Wise are my two go-to. So I love
you're cutting in
everybody to do those. And then I'm like, well, gosh, we're already at 2. You should just do one more and then you get a free one. So that's what they've done.
It's that simple. She has her 2 power products. You're already at 2. Why don't we just do one more so you can get a free product?
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. Know your power products. That's why listen, Kristen and Travis became millionaires in years, right? Because they figured how to find a simple plan and duplicate it. So when they started this company, they wanted us to have a variety of products, but they didn't want us to try and do all of the products. Find your power products, because if you're not passionately talking about what makes you passionate, then you're never going to find your people. If you're talking about everything, you're going to be good at nothing. But you find your power products, and because you believe in them, you can easily speak about it, and people feel that. Rachel, what would be your 2 tips? I love those, Sandy. I love you.
Oh, thanks.
2 tips on, but I was so in like,
I know. We're just so proud of you.
I got lost.
Crazy. It's a lot of luck too. And can I just say one thing? Phoenix Rising, I love that freaking name. That's awesome.
I love it. All right, give me your 2 tips, Rach.
Okay. So let's see. My 2 tips would be don't overcomplicate it. That's what I did for a long time. I overcomplicated everything. And when they launched the Rock to Ruby sheet and the choose 1, choose 2 free, I was like, there we go. It all makes sense. They literally break it down so simple. Don't overthink it. Like when Sandy first joined, I sent, she got the Rock to Ruby sheet and the choose 1, choose 2 free. And I've just been like, focus on your 4. What are you going to choose? Your 4 products that you're going to talk about, that you're going to spread to the world, and just focus on that. Don't make it hard. And my second tip is going to be stop fighting your potential. Stop fighting it. Because I fought mine and my imposter monster for years. Okay. The imposter monster is your comparison game. Don't compare yourself to other people, because if you look at me, I'm at like a level 20. Okay, let's say level 20. All right. And if you're just starting in, you're at a level 1, you're just starting. You can't compare your level 1 to my level 20. Just like you can't compare my level to Crystal's level. She's been in it longer than me. Okay. Never compare your journey to somebody else, because your journey is unique to you. Do not ever try to be somebody else and try to copy. You are unique to you. And the people that you're going to attract into your business are going to be attracted to you for a reason. It's because you showed up as your true, authentic self, and people need to see it. Okay. They don't just need to see a product shoved in their throat every few minutes. Go ahead.
I want to add on to what you're saying before you jump to the product situation. When you see someone that does something you like, make it your own. Make it your own. It's not copying. It's just making it your own. It's like, oh, that spoke to me. So I'm going to reword it and then re-say it how I would say it, because my people are my friends, right? So when Sandy said she followed Kimberly, she went to Kimberly Stroud's page. That is not a huge surprise, because I love Kimberly. I just love her. And I'm like, this makes sense, because we're all speaking the same language, but we're doing it in our own voice. That's what it means when we follow those leaders. Like, they say like copy the right cats, but you're not going to copy them exactly, because their audience is not your audience. When you do that, you lose yourself. So you want to take advice take tips from other leaders, but then make it yourself or make it your own, right? So I love that. Don't compare yourself. And when you listen, I'm going to give you this tip too. When you start, if you're following someone because they're inspiring you, and then all of a sudden you start getting that twinge of jealousy, unfollow them. Unfollow them, because what's happening is there's something inside of you that needs to get worked on. You need to jump into personal development. It's not because there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with them. It's just a trigger. God is just saying, hey, we need to work on this a little bit. So I'm going to trigger you by something that they're doing. And it's actually a good thing. The problem is we get sucked into that jealousy hole and we let it pull us right down instead of identifying it just as God saying like, hey, we have an area here we need to work on. I just want to tweak this for a little bit. So what I do, because it happens to me also, what I do is I unfollow. I don't unfriend because I still love them, but I want to protect my mind and I want to protect my spirit, right? So I know something is getting at me and it's rubbing me the wrong way. Look at him wanting to be in the camera. He's like, I'm here.
He's like, can they hear me? I'm like, yes. He's making coffee. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's totally fine. I love it. My husband used to do that. He'd always walk by when I was doing things. And I'm like, must you do that? Like, do you have to be in the kitchen right now? He used to always do that. And then he joined the company. So we'll see him on the next
Sorry,
one.
guys.
Gosh, no. But okay. So that is an indicator that there's something within you that you just need to work on. Find a personal development book. Okay. I have two that I'm always working on. I have one that works on my spirit and one that works on my business. So I toggle back and forth because some days I need a little more work on my spirit than I do my business because I can't work my business unless my mind and my spirit are right. Okay. So I always toggle between two books. And I, I've obviously got my Bible, but that's not my self-help that's going to give me that tough directed love. Bible is great, but when you are in this kind of business, you have to be filling your cup with the positive directed affirmations, something that's going to be filling your mind and keeping you focused. Okay. Scripture is very broad and it can go to all types of things. So please don't think I'm not discrediting scripture. I read scripture every day. I'm not saying that, but personal development, this is why I'm making it a task. So I'm making it a task because it is very, very, very important. And if you've been in this industry long enough, you've not ever heard one top leader not suggest personal development. And there's a reason, because you cannot get through any kind of people business, network marketing or not, any kind of business you work with humans, you need to be pouring into your mind and washing out all of the gunk that the world pours onto you every day, right? So you just need to continually pour into yourself. I'm just laughing because you're shaking your head. Okay, so we've got that tip, right? If someone's starting to make you jealous, we unfollow, we work on ourselves. And then go back to their page. There's a few top leaders that used to rub me a really wrong way. And now I'm loving on them all over again because I worked on my heart and I realized it wasn't them, it was me. All right. If you ladies have any other tip about anything you want to share, because we have a little more time, it's 8:40. And then I want to do a big graphic, a group picture, because there's 17 of you lovely faces on here.
Wow, I didn't realize there's so many.
I know. Awesome. So proud of you guys.
So, I mean, I think another thing is to do the things like it was mentioned on the hustle this morning. Like you hear these advices, right? And you're in the moment, you're like, yeah, I like that. That's good. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then it stays in a notebook and you don't do it. And honestly, the blitz sessions in the morning have really helped me because we forget after being in the industry for a little bit, the little simple steps that you're supposed to be doing on a daily to grow your business. And it's like, when you're doing them, you're like, gosh, this is so simple.
Exactly.
It's so easy. Why did I forget this? It's because we try to make it harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
We have to go back to the beginning. The little steps is what builds huge, big businesses.
Which is why when Kimberly said the 30 list on her panel at convention, it hit my heart, because I was like, that's what we're missing. We're not being consistent with reaching out to people and just loving on them. So the fact that that's exactly what you did, Sandy, and that's what has been bringing you success, and you're doing that every day. I also want to point out, for those of you that have the worst jobs in the universe and they don't give you lunch breaks, that Sandy wakes up at 5 a.m. It gives her 45 extra minutes to be able to get through 30 people loving and engaging on her list. So she's making that commitment to start her day earlier. Right? You guys have hell bosses and you don't have lunch breaks. So you got to get up a little bit earlier. So that way, when you come home, you're able to spend time with your family, because I don't want you to come home and then just be on your phone all day long. I want you to spend time with your family, because you've been working all day. So just get up a little bit earlier, because you know your kids are still sleeping. You know the world hasn't started yet. Just get up a little bit earlier. Do your love list, do your the checklist that we just started, and get through your business. And then you have time on the weekends. You can just, honestly, I'm going to agree, the blitzes have changed my business, because even when I'm like sitting and I don't have anything to do, I'm like, oh, I didn't do birthdays today. Let me do my birthdays. Like, I wake up in the morning before the blitz and I'm like doing my birthdays. I'm doing the things. I'm doing all of it before we even get on the blitz. So when we do the blitz, I go do it twice, if they happen to do it that day, because they've just created this natural reaction of, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to message happy birthday to people. And I've been getting so many different people on my feed, right? Because on Facebook, we see like the same 30 people all the time. Now I'm actually starting to see new people, and I'm going through stories, and that is the easiest way to get into people's inboxes, is through stories. Honestly.
Without even having to talk about a product or be like, hey, did you see what we just launched? No, you're already in their inbox.
Nope, you're already in their inbox, because you're going through their story and you're just commenting on whatever it is that they're posting about. Do you know how great that feels when someone messages me?
Thing.
Yes. Go.
We did all of that, and you messaged me, Crystal, and you said, just focus on a couple of things, because I think for me, just starting out, you see all of these things, and there's so much, and you have all of these ideas. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm going to try this. No, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that. And it's overwhelming.
Yes.
So I think you kind of have to pick one or two things that you're going to focus on. For me, that's what I think has worked for me. I think this list has really worked for me. And you put that video up of Kimberly talking about it, and then you did it a couple of huddles back. I think just focusing on one or two things has been the key for me, and watching the blitzes in the morning when I can. Most of the time I have to rewatch them because, I'm at work. So, but I think one or two things has been the best advice you gave me, not to try to do all the things.
Yes.
Well, and Sandy is also working in pockets of her day too. When she messaged earlier, she kind of threw up on me in a message, and she was like, I'm sorry for throwing up on you. I'm doing this in like 15-minute segments. I'm like, it's okay. You're not throwing up on me. It's totally fine. Like I literally sit at home.
I run in room 4 patients, and then I message Rachel, and I'm like, okay, I got 15 minutes. This is what I need from you in these 15 minutes.
We have little areas in our day that sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it, but you're sitting on your phone like this and you're not even interacting with people. Like, and you're like, that's why you're not getting interaction on your posts. It's because you're not interacting with other people.
It's true.
And building a relationship.
I'm going to be very, very transparent here, and it's recorded. I wish I had hit stop record before I said this, but I've been in this industry for 8 years, and many years I have just scrolled Facebook. And every time that I'm not successful in my enrollments, it's because that month, all that I did was scroll Facebook. And every time I would hear a top leader say, we all do it, we all get stuck in scrolling, I'm like, shut up, you're not talking to me. I'm not listening. La, 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 that's for somebody else. That's not for me, because I didn't want to admit, and now I can never take this back, because actually I'm admitting this for the first time. I didn't want to admit that that's why my business wasn't going forward, because I said I was doing the work, but I wasn't. I was lying to myself. I was lying to myself. And guess who was hurting? Myself. So there's a lot. I know I'm not the only one who's done this. I know that a lot of us spend time, we think we're working. We're talking to other teammates. We're posting on other aerial people's posts, right? Oh my God, I worked all day. I commented on things all day long. They're already in the business. You did nothing, right? I've done the same. I've done the same. We have those days. I get it. Just know that if you really want to be successful, you have to call yourself out on your own shit.
Own it.
The only way we're going to get past it is when you get sick of your own shit, period. And then you might figure out a way to get past it and to do something different. And what Sandy said is so true. Don't try to do everything. Figure out what is your thing and do that well and do it consistently. And then you'll start to see success and you'll be happy about it because you like it, right? You don't want to leave a shitty job to come do something else you hate. So figure out what it is that you like and do that with excitement, because people feel it when you're excited. Sandy felt it when Rachel came back from convention. I felt the post that Rachel did the other day after the first paragraph. I was like, ooh, she put some power in this one because I felt it. And that matters. If you watched the huddle today, Andrea said, think about who you're taking that picture for. It's the same thing when you make a post. You're not talking to the world. You're not writing to Facebook. And if you think you are, you're writing to all your 5,000, 3,000, 200, 400 friends, you're going to get nowhere because it's an echo. It's like hollering into an empty room and it's just going to echo back at you and nothing's going to happen. But if you think about who you're writing to, who is that one person you're writing to? For me, it's always that single mom. It's the mom that's hurting. She's in a really shitty relationship and she just wants to get out of it. She's working too much and she hasn't seen her kid. Those are all my stories. Those are all pieces of my soul. That's who I'm talking to. So when I make my post, it's to her. So when she reads it, she felt it because I was intentional about who I was talking to. You're not talking to the world. You're not talking to every single one of your friends. You're talking to the one person that you're connecting with, and you're going to reach her. And she's going to feel it when she reads it. And then the next day might be a different person. Maybe you're in the happy-go-lucky mood. Maybe my sailor mouth is out that day. I'm going to be a little sailor. And I'm just going to cuss up a storm. It's a different person every day. But every time you make that post, who's the one person you're talking to? Put that behind it, because I promise it changes how you feel about your posts and it changes the person who reads it.
Speaking of that, with posting,
We have 10 minutes.
A lot of it, yeah, no, it'll be quick. A lot of it, I took me out of it. I took the focus on I out of it, okay? And when I'm thinking about posting, because I tell a lot of my story now, because I've done the work to be able to talk about my past now and touching people who have similar stories. And it's, who can I serve? Who can I serve with this post? Who can I help? So a lot of my posting before used to be whining about my past and stuff like that. But now my past is my superpower, and it's what I use to attract people into my life.
Yeah, those are your people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to do a boomerang. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.